Hello there, comrades. So today I am going to talk about feminism amongst the anarchist community. Now, for those of you who don't know, which would be the majority of you, unless you came over from my last channel, I came from the liberal feminist crowd into the anarchist crowd, and that's actually where I think a lot of my ideas came from. But I heard these other ideas, and I ended up liking them too, which is why I didn't just stay a liberal feminist. Otherwise, I wouldn't just be an anarchist champion one cause. But feminism, from a historical perspective, has always been about women trying to gain rights that they do not have. And this is supposed to go for equality. Emma Goldman was one of the biggest feminists in history, and I'd say that she is one of my favorite anarchists in history. But anarchism has a mixed history or feminism has a mixed history in anarchism. And while I'd say most contemporary anarchists would consider themselves feminists, even then there's still some divisiveness in the type of feminism. Because there are many who disagree with third-wave feminism. By the way, I am not one of them. So, yeah, feel free to comment about how I'm supposedly a misandrist. You're free to. But I really just want to talk about it from the perspective of anarchism and how it, I think has been somewhat divisive. But I think it's also quite important to anarchism, because if you're not fighting for women's rights, whose rights are, how are you fighting for everybody's rights? So that bullshit equalism thing that the amazing atheist, or as I call him, the asshole atheist, talks about, TJ is just, he claims that he's an anti-fem, and I'd say that he is definitely an anti-fem, but I'd also say he's definitely a misogynist if you've actually looked at shit he said in the past when he told a woman that he thinks that she should drown in a rapist's cum. Obviously not acceptable. But even in the anarchist community, there's been some divisiveness. Now, again, contemporary anarchism tends to usually be in support of it. There's a few who aren't. I'd even say there's a few in my, in the conglomerate that I'm involved in that may have some views that I disagree with when it comes to their opposition to feminism. I'm not going to say any names. But as far as feminism in anarchism goes, in the past there was even more of a division than there is now. I mean, all people are flawed, and I do believe that for sure. Which is why I don't just abandon anarchists who have some amount of hateful tendencies. Because if you did that, you would get rid of Bakunin, you would get rid of, I can't name all of them, but Bakunin was a misogynist, and he was also rather rabidly anti-Semitic. So, I mean, I'd have to say I do believe that feminism is important to the anarchist community, that, I even agree with working with liberal feminists such as Lacey Green and Anita Sarkeesian to try and help get some amount of change. Now, I believe that the state is a temporary solution to any problem, and that it should not be relied on for permanence. And Badmouse has also said so in the past, that he believes that you cannot rely on state change, but that if you get state change, or that you can push for state change when there's not going to be any removal of the state anytime soon. Now, I'd say that concludes my thoughts on feminism in an anarchist society. I would like you all to have a wonderful day. See you later, comrades.